Well, welcome to our Weather Impact Report, where we take a look at the top weather stories here in Georgia and around the nation. I'm meteorologist Danielle Moss. Last week was another busy week for meteorologists all around the country. Tornado-warned storms knocked down trees and power lines in multiple cities and states, even in some places you might not expect it. Last Sunday night was a very scary night for people near Denver, Colorado. Multiple tornadoes touched down there, damaging homes and buildings.
Oh my God.
You can hear the fear in his voice. The National Weather Service says 4 tornadoes were reported east of the city. This was shot in a small town of Bennett, about 36 miles east of Denver. You can see the tornado is just a few blocks away as the man shoots a video from his back window and then his backyard. Authorities say 17 buildings, including 6 homes, were destroyed or damaged near Bennett, but there were no reports of injuries. Could you imagine being trapped in your home after a tree covers your house? Well, that's the reality that one Birmingham woman faced last Sunday night. The weather took down trees and power lines across central Alabama. Felice Brown woke up to the sound of a tree crashing down on her house, trapping her inside. Brown says while she was trapped, neighbors and police checked on her, but it took officers a little longer to find her home.
They came by and did a check and said, you know, we passed the house. We didn't even notice it was a house there because it was so much damage, or the tree kind of blocked everything.
After spending hours trapped in her home without power, Brown finally made it to safety late in the afternoon. People are still picking up the pieces after the history-making tornado in St. Louis. Our sister station, KSDK, has been following up on a number of reports claiming the city's tornado warning sirens didn't sound during the storm. The mayor blames it on human error. Laura Barshexi looks into what happened and what's being done to make sure it doesn't happen again.
North St. Louis residents have been asking since the storm hit, where were the sirens?
I did not hear a siren. We just say everything started turning up. Big gusts of wind, trees started to lay down to the ground, big trees. Just hell. They just passed my parts up and just came down here and just tore up everything.
No siren.
St. Louis Emergency Management tested them the day before this deadly EF3 tornado ripped apart the city.
But they do all their testing at every first of the month, but then sirens didn't work this time. Nothing came through.
I heard them the day before, but I ain't heard nothing.
Do you think if you would have heard the sirens that would have made a difference?
It would have made a difference for me because I could have got to somewhere a little safer, but if he heard it, he just still would never fell on it.
Lawrence Poole is talking about the roof that fell on top of his friend during the storm. He's been helping him put a tarp over his home.
So much grief floating around there, you can feel it. It makes people sad.
Tony Davis says he might have made it to the basement if he had warning, but instead he got trapped.
I was stuck up there. When I went to try to get out, my steps was gone, so I couldn't run. I say, well, I just got between my door jamb and say, let's go.
Mayor Kara Spencer says the reason the sirens didn't go off, to put it simply, someone did not push a button.
But at the end of the day, this was a human failure. We know that our emergency management system also issued 317 direct messages to the community to let them know.
Poole is upset learning this is the reason they didn't have warning.
It makes me, it just ticks me off. You know, it don't make sense.
A current city protocol document says warning sirens are supposed to be activated at the fire department dispatch center or city emergency management agency. Spencer says that's changing.
It was not exceptionally clear about whose roles and responsibilities it was to do what. It is now my responsibility and my role to ensure that moving forward, this protocol is crystal clear, and it is. This protocol is calling for our fire department, who is staffed 24 hours a day, to issue those warnings.
Mayor Spencer says she's taking accountability for the failure and has full confidence the city's fire department will be able to trigger sirens moving forward. The road to recovery will be a long one for those that were impacted by that storm. Residents are cleaning up the damage and counting their blessings after surviving a storm of that nature, and it all could have been very worse. 11 Live's Chase Howell went to St. Louis to speak to the people there firsthand.
Felt the house shake.
Entire homes flattened, massive trees uprooted, families left devastated and exposed like the inside of their homes.
I saw the way that this wind looked and everything and felt. I knew it was something major.
Stacy Nash has been living on Cates Avenue for decades. She says Friday's twister blew out her windows and took off the back half of her house.
And I've seen tornadoes on TV, on the news. I even work where we help offer disaster assistance. But for me to actually go through a disaster like I have been, it hits different.
And I think she's going to be the one to give me some light.
Across the street,
as you can see from the bottom, but then we're coming up with another inch gap. So that's telling me that it has pushed out.
Wardell Jones is trying to get what he can out of his house. He says by the grace of God, he was at home when the EF3 tornado came barreling through the neighborhood. And even with his roof gone and rain on the way, Jones says he's staying put.
I take showers, I get wet. So it's no different than a bath or a shower. You just get wet, you have your clothes on. So if it happens, it happens. If it don't, thank you.
And different bags have different things. We have
Roshonda Bernard went door to door in the neighborhood passing out Ziploc bags full of snacks and drinks, helping a community she says that did so much for her.
You know, it's gut-wrenching. It's gut-wrenching for real. But, you know, these are people. You know, if nobody else do it for them, we got to come together as a community to, you know, help these people out the best way that we can.
In St. Louis, Chase Howell, 11 Alive News.
A late Tuesday night, severe weather came knocking on Georgia's doorstep. Overnight storms caused severe damage in multiple places. Skies all across the metro were lighting up during those storms. Here's a look over Georgia Tech's campus. This was after the strongest of the storms passed through. Thousands of power outages were reported across North Georgia. Here's what it looked like on Piedmont Road at Miami Circle, where flooding shut the street down in both directions and even stranded one motorist. The video was taken during a flash flood warning. The storm also triggered multiple tornadoes warnings, and many reported of downed trees and power lines. Winds over 60 miles per hour caused trees to topple over in North Georgia and right here in Metro Atlanta. This is video from the Hidden Crest Apartments where trees fell on top of some residents' cars. A powerful thunderstorm turned dangerous in Gwinnett County after lightning struck a home, sparking a fire that left a dozen people displaced. This video was from Wednesday morning after the fire happened. Firefighters rushed to the scene, but during the response, part of the roof collapsed, injuring one firefighter. Thankfully, he was treated and released from the hospital. Inside the home, quick thinking made all the difference. A teenage son saw the lightning strike and immediately alerted his family, helping all 9 adults and 3 children escape safely. The Red Cross is now stepping in to help the family get back on their feet. Gwinnett County officials are reminding everyone to have a fire escape plan and a designated meeting spot outside, like a tree or mailbox. In emergencies, every second counts. Here's a look at some of the images that happened this night as well. On your screen is a tree that fell in Cherokee County. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office tells us this happened on Reinhardt College Parkway in Waleska. And this video is from the cleanup in Butts County, where the storms ripped a tree out of the ground on Plaza Drive. A tornado warning was issued for this area. After receiving multiple damage reports, the National Weather Service sent a team to survey all of the damage. Tornado sirens and phone alerts woke people up on Tuesday night, and the next morning, the cleanup process began. 11 Alive's Dan Kennedy spoke to emergency managers about the importance of having more than one way to receive alerts.
Overall, countywide, the damage not too bad here in Butts County. Nobody here was hurt. Damage not too widespread. There are people, though, like here on Plaza Drive, who have some cleanup. The man who lives here says he heard a freight train sound around 3:45 in the morning, then looked outside to see this large tree uprooted. Mostly spared his house, but did land on part of the neighbor's roof. You'll hear from him in just a moment. The downed trees are few and far between, but we found several more toppled over in someone's front yard on Jenkinsburg Road at the county line at Butts and Henry. Back here on Plaza Drive, this is what the man whose house is damaged from that falling tree had to say about what he believes was a tornado.
She was off in a distance, and it was just like a V-shaped situation, and you could see it, but you couldn't until lightning. When lightning hit, you could actually see it, and it was getting close enough. It was a show. It was a sight to see, you know, and I don't care to go through it again.
A long line of cars was stopped early this morning for this fallen tree blocking Halls Bridge Road. Crews had that cleared within 2 hours so people could get on with their day and to even begin their day. Although most people I talked to in Butts County this morning, their day started at 4 a.m. when they were awoken either to the sound of the storm, to alerts on their phone, or to blaring tornado sirens. Reporting in Butts County, Dan Kennedy, 11 Alive News.
And in Gordon County, more downed trees blocking roads, taking out power lines and leaving a lot of debris. The Gordon County Sheriff's Office says the hardest hit area appears to be around the Sonoraville community, which is near Buc-ee's in Calhoun. The National Weather Service spent much of Thursday afternoon in Gordon County surveying the impacts of this week's severe storms. They confirmed an EF0 tornado touchdown near Calhoun. 11 Alive's Grace King joined that survey team and has a look at the latest on what they're focusing on.
The toppled trees and crushed carpentry brought Tiffany Gore near tears.
Had a tree hit my house in 2020, and it's a lot. You know, it hits you emotionally in ways that you don't really understand.
She knows how taxing the cleanup process can be, so she jumped in to help her friends when she saw the damage in Gordon County.
His house had been hit by a tornado. His brand new car, his truck, his boat, and his back porch along with his girl's bedroom.
They spent the morning clearing trees and sawing wood so repairs can get underway.
I'm worried about him for real, so I want to make sure we're all here supporting him. And I want to see Georgia come out and support their neighbors like crazy.
Their house was one of several noted in a National Weather Service survey Thursday as their crews assessed the severity of this week's storms.
Looking like it was a spin-up tornado along that line of storms that came through just before midnight the other night.
Meteorologist in charge Keith Stellman says much of the damage on Windy Hill Drive is from an EF0 tornado.
There are a couple sheds and outbuildings that look like they had some damage, and then there's a manufactured home just around the corner from here that has some pretty good siding and roof damage just from the wind itself.
The strong winds knocked over a ton of trees too.
If you have a tree, large trees near your house, you need to be aware that that is probably your biggest risk moving forward with severe weather.
In Gordon County, Grace King, 11 Alive News.
While several homes were damaged, thankfully, the Gordon County Emergency Management Director says no one was hurt. Well, this is the newest video out of Gordon County, where the National Weather Service spent most of Thursday surveying the damage from Tuesday night's storms. The agency confirmed 2 tornadoes touched down in the county. Tornadoes also touched down in Cherokee and Butts County. The strong front that passed through on Tuesday also brought severe weather through Alabama. Several tornadoes spawned as a result of it all. This video shows a funnel cloud and lightning flashes in Huntsville, Alabama. A tornado watch was issued for parts of the state. Hail was reported in Florence, Alabama. There were reports of trees and power lines, as you can imagine, all throughout the area. Thousands of residents have been left without power. Well, Georgia wrapped up the week almost how it started, with severe weather. Strong storms Sunday night left trees down once again in metro Atlanta. Strong storms Sunday left a mess across parts of Georgia, including right here in Atlanta. A large tree came down on Peyton Road southwest, blocking part of the roadway. This video was sent to us by an 11 Live viewer showing the aftermath and just how powerful those storms were. Check out these pictures from Adairsville in Bartow County of damage on Sunday. You can see trees and limbs fell on I-75 northbound. Luckily, once again, no one was injured. In North Georgia, the first round of storms left behind some damage off I-75 along Spring Place Road northeast. This barn was destroyed in the storms. Wood from the barn scattered all across the yard. The owner says it happened at a bad time because it's time for them to cut hay. There are also reports of trees blocking roads and down power lines.
You get the phone call, you come over here. What was your reaction when you saw this?
Heartbreaking. I've been through this before. Sucks. I mean, went through that tornado back in 2011 from the same one hit Tuscaloosa, hit here in 2011. It's just heartbreaking. I just want to cry sometimes.
Very sad there. Sunday storms caused damage yet again in Gordon County. You can see the severe damage to this farm building. There were also reports of trees down throughout the county, but luckily no one was hurt there either. And those same storms came in from the west and caused damage all across the southeast. Golf ball size hail pelted Sudan, Texas, northeast of Lubbock. Severe storms moved through the area, dumping rain and producing high winds. And as you can see, large hail covered this small Texas town. The National Weather Service in Lubbock issued a severe storm warning, and the front continued to sweep across the region. Well, we are getting closer and closer to hurricane season, and the National Hurricane Center has predicted an above normal Atlantic hurricane season. NOAA announced their prediction for the season Thursday morning. NOAA's National Weather Service forecasters are expecting between 13 and 19 total named storms, including 3 to 5 major hurricanes. That's Category 3, 4, or 5, with winds of 111 miles per hour or higher. This summer will mark the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, a storm that NOAA experts say is still teaching them lessons about storm preparedness and response.
Everything's in place for an above average season. So no matter the forecast, what do we always say? Only takes one. It only takes one. So we got to be prepared right now.
Severe weather was the big story this week, and this spring has been very potent for tornadoes, and we aren't quite done yet. Take this time to prepare your family for what they need to do during severe weather because, like he said, it only takes one. Stay safe this week with your Weather Impact Report. I'm meteorologist Danielle Moss.